let's get started. Solar orientation is basically the process of aiming something at the sun. This is important because any solar technology like a solar panel or a sun oven or even a passive solar home receives the greatest amount of energy when pointed or oriented at a direct 90-degree angle toward the sun. This isn't as easy as you might think, however, because the sun's position in the sky is constantly moving. It rises in the east, arcs across the sky, and sets in the west. Not only that, the sun's actual arc across the sky changes position throughout the year. In the winter in the northern hemisphere, the sun's daily path across the sky moves lower toward the south. This isn't a problem with something like a solar box oven. You just face it toward the sun and move it when needed to follow the sun's movement. However, other solar technologies, especially solar homes, need to use the seasonal changes in the sun's position to work properly throughout the year. Because of this, solar home builders need to know where the sun will be in the sky at any time of the year. So why is it hotter in the summer? It's hotter in the summer because the sun's path is higher in the sky. This results in two things. It makes the days longer, and it makes the summer sun more intense. To see why the summer sun is more intense, let's use a flashlight for a simple demonstration. In a darkened room, shine the flashlight on a flat surface at a direct 90-degree angle. Notice the size of the area lit by the light. Then angle the flashlight down to a less direct angle. The size of the lit area increases, but the intensity or brightness of it is reduced. The more direct 90-degree angle provides the most intense light. The same thing happens with the sun. The higher it is in the sky, the more direct and intense the sunlight will be. Remember, the sun's path is highest in the sky on the summer solstice, the longest day of the year. Its path is lowest on the shortest day of the year, the winter solstice. If we draw the sun's paths on these 2 days, we can clearly see why the day lengths are different. The sun's path across the sky is longer in the summer and shorter in the winter. The longer the path, the more hours the sun is in the sky. Throughout the year, the sun's path will move up and down between these two extremes. We can now begin to chart where the sun will be at any time of day during the year at this location. At 9 in the morning on December 21st, the sun has risen in the east and is low in the southern sky. On June 21st, it's higher in the sky at this same time of day. We can draw a line on the sky dome between these two 9 a.m. positions. This line shows where the sun will be at 9 a.m. during the rest of the year. As the sun's path moves up and down through the seasons, the position of the sun at 9 a.m. will always be somewhere on this line. Likewise, we can draw a line for the sun's position at 3 p.m. Throughout the year, the position of the sun at 3 p.m. will always be somewhere on this line. We now have a rectangle on the sky dome showing where the sun will be between 9 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon throughout the year. On any day of the year, the sun's arc across the sky will be between the two white paths. Between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m., it will be somewhere between the two yellow lines. The area inside this rectangle is called the solar window for this location. The solar window is important because the hours between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. are when you get the most energy from the sun. To receive the maximum solar energy, you don't want the solar window to be shaded by trees or other obstacles between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. during most of the year.
So let's actually see what effect this has. Now again, I'm at 42 degrees latitude and in November, so I have got this at just over 50-degree angle. So I'm really pointing directly at the sun. Now you'll see up here I also have got a meter. It's an insolation meter. So it's showing me the intensity of the sun. Solar panels are rated at the standard test conditions, which is 1,000 watts per square meter. So right now, at 1:45 in the afternoon, I'm almost at 900 watts per square meter. So I've got pretty good intense sunlight right now. And so I'm going to show you the volts and the amps. So my volts right now is 19.8 volts and my amps is 0.41 amps. So I've got little 5-watt panels, so they're going to be fairly low. But you're going to see a pretty dramatic change here in the amps, but not so much in the volts. If you saw the other videos, you'll see that the intensity of the sunlight doesn't affect volts as much as it affects amps, and that's true with most semiconductors. So I'm going to change my angle here. So I've got it at 35 degrees now. My insulation has dropped down to 7.12. My volts are still pretty high, up at 19.6. But my amps have dropped down to 0.34. Now if I go down a bit more here, so now I'm at 20 degrees, which would be great in the summer, but at November 20th, not so good. My insulation's down 500 and something, 540. My volts is still, again, still fine, 19.4 volts, but my amps has dropped almost in half to 20.27 amps. If I drop down even further, so I'm pretty much flat, so this is something you'd see probably on an RV. My insulation has dropped down to 267 watts per square meter. My volts is still okay, it's 18.8 volts, but my amps is 0.15 amps, so I'm really not getting much power out of these panels. So you really can see that the angle that you tilt them does matter. So if you've got an off-grid system, you might want to do something that you can have them adjustable angles so that you can have it so that in the winter you're going to have them pretty steep and in the summer you're going to have them pretty shallow.
We've always been told that tilting your panels is best because you bring in so much extra power.
And we've always responded with, it sounds dangerous jumping up on the roof that much, and we move so fast. What if we forget to take them down before we leave camp?
Exactly, so we always thought, we'll just throw an extra panel up there and that will compensate for the extra power.
Yeah, and with this new RV, we decided, why not try out a tilting kit? It's not like we have to use it.
No, so we thought we would show you how we tilt our panels and just how much power it actually brings in. That's extra.
We're just outside Joshua Tree National Park, and it's mid-January, so the winter sun is still low on the horizon. And this is when we get the most benefit from tilting our panels.
While Jason's up on the roof tilting the panels, we're going to be in here paying attention to the numbers so we can see how much more power is coming in with each panel that's tilted. We're paying attention to this little number. This is output 37 amps. So 37 amps is how much we're bringing in right now with all of the panels flat. So let's see what happens.
Okay, last one's up.
They were at 52 amps.
52 amps! 52 amps!
Yeah, so do we think it's worth it to tilt your panels?
100%.